Hi everyone, I'm Danielle with Trinity Readings. We're going to do the Virgo June Tarotscope. So keep in mind, these are general readings, so take what resonates, leave what doesn't. If you find that the reading doesn't resonate, you can always check your moon, rising, or Venus placements, because sometimes those will resonate more. And I do offer personal readings. You can get all of that information in the description box. All right, Virgos, let's see what you've got going on this month. There is like a real there's like this heaviness, but it's like a heaviness, it's like there's a need to just breathe and do it and step forward. It's like a hesitation in moving forward. Let me see what it is. Let me see what this message is. Both of these cards came up in the Cancer reading, and so if you have Cancer in your chart or you're dealing with somebody who's a Cancer, I would watch that reading as well. Yeah, it's eerily similar to the Cancer reading. It feels like you maybe in the past, or in maybe even the past 6 months. It could be a lot longer than that, but it's like you jumped into something that you weren't necessarily emotionally prepared for or emotionally ready for. Like, you ended a relationship and then got into a relationship like very soon after, and hadn't really had time to like heal from like that past relationship. And so it's like you stepped into a new relationship or a new situation that you weren't necessarily emotionally prepared for, that you weren't fully emotionally like comfortable with. And what we normally do in those situations is, like, if we haven't fully healed our own heart from past stuff, we're either going to step into the next relationship and completely let go of all of our boundaries and completely dive into that relationship with the expectation that the other person is just going to protect us and keep us safe and help us heal. Or we do the complete opposite, is we step into a relationship, but we have all these force fields around us, and kind of hold on to the expectation that the other person is going to prove to us that we can trust them. And either way, stepping into a relationship, with no boundaries or too many boundaries, it makes the relationship out of balance. It makes it out of whack, and it turns it into the relationship into a power struggle. It becomes a a fight for who's in control, a fight for who's doing what. You begin looking at, okay, they're only doing this and this and this. How come they're not doing this? Like, it becomes more of a job or a chore than actually a relationship. And I feel like that's what you're being guided to kind of take a step back this month and look at and examine. There's a lot of boundary issues right now within your relationship. Either there's not enough respect for each other's boundaries, or there's so many boundaries being put up that there's no progression. You're feeling some sort of maybe restriction in your love life, in your relationship, but it's because there is still heart healing, emotional healing that needs to occur. And that's where the focus needs to be. And I know that people are going to hate me saying this, but you cannot expect another person to help you heal. That heart healing, that emotional healing, even if it was caused by another person, it's the most effective healing comes from you healing that within yourself. And I know that's no fun, but I do also feel that you need to be really mindful of your own personal boundaries. Not just in your relationships, but even in work and in your friendships. It's like if you have kind of these goals and these expectations in mind, and then one person can come in and go, you need to do it this way, and you just automatically let go of everything that you had planned, then you're not respecting your own boundaries. If you feel that a lot of people around you disrespect your boundaries pretty consistently, that's also a message that you're not being assertive enough with your boundaries. So I do feel there's a need to be more assertive with your boundaries, but not in the sense of completely shutting yourself off, but like boundaries in the sense of, these are the things that I want, these are the things that I need, and so I'm gonna put a wall of maybe that's not the right way to word it. I'm gonna make that my priority, and anything that comes in and is going against these boundaries, I have to assert boundaries up, right? But that doesn't mean you have to like cut everything off. I kind of feel like if you are in a relationship, and this is a relationship that you entered into from kind of like an emotionally like unsettled place, if it was like you just got out of a relationship, or the person that you're dealing with just got out of a relationship, if you're finding struggle in that relationship, it is because there's a need to kind of take a step back and kind of reevaluate the balance and the boundaries in that. And it's not that you have to cut this off. It's not that you need to end it. But the reason that you're finding the issues is because the emotional stuff has not been addressed. And because the emotional stuff has not been addressed, the practical stuff is like all out of whack. The boundaries are all out of whack. Yeah, you have it's kind of like you have a tendency, or the situation that you're in right now, it's like you feel like you walked into this with a completely open heart, like you wore your heart on your sleeve, you put everything out there, you show this person love, you show this person gratitude, and I feel like you're in this space where you don't feel like you're connecting with this person, and it's all good. You're making progress. You're on the right path with this, but it's like there's like It's like, again, because it's like you walked into the relationship completely open and almost too open, and gave that, like, look to that person and that relationship to make you feel safe and make you feel secure. But it's not like you're not bringing your true self into this. Let me get clarity. It's like there's still, the healing still needs to happen. You can't avoid the healing. I kind of feel like also that, like, you're in this and you're in a connection, and you're seeing it for what it is. You're seeing the truth of what it is. And it's all well and good when things are going well, but when it comes to any issues, any problems, and working through those problems, that's where you're having, like, it's not evolving. There's no growth in this relationship. You're seeing this relationship in its truth, right? You're seeing beyond the projections, beyond the fantasy, right? And I feel like it might be that now that you're kind of seeing the truth of this relationship, and the mask is off, again, like, I feel like you dove into this completely open, completely grateful. This is somebody that I'm meant to be with. This relationship feels great. But the problems aren't being dealt with. The healing is not being done. If you and this person are not on the same page about something, there's no conversation about it because neither of you want to upset the other person. And so it's like everything's good when everything's good, but when there's actual, like, problems to deal with, they don't get dealt with. The reality doesn't get dealt with. And now that the reality is kind of in your face, I feel like you're questioning whether or not this is really something that you're meant to be in. And I do feel that it's a beautiful, like, I do feel that you're on the right path with this. I do feel that this is a good situation or a good connection, but the healing has to happen. Because it's creating the space where there's a lack of trust, where there's a fear that this person is going to hurt you the same as the person in the past, or this could be going on with the other person too. But it's like the healing still has to occur. You know, what's that saying? If you can't handle me at my best, or if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. I feel like it goes both ways in that in this relationship that you're dealing with right now. And I'm not saying that you have to put up with bullshit. I'm not saying that you have to justify somebody's bullshit behavior. But I do feel that it needs to be approached in a way of, hey, this is something that we need to work through. This is something that we need to work out. And if it is anything that is connected to any kind of emotional healing that started before this relationship, I feel like it's important to understand that that's yours to deal with, and that's theirs. Like, their own past emotional stuff is theirs to deal with. Your own past emotional stuff is yours to deal with. I know that kind of sounds shitty, but you get what I'm saying. That helps. Let's see if we can get some more clarity on this. Okay, so how are you showing up in the energy this month? You're showing up as the Fool, so it's a good space. It's like the possibilities are endless for you this month. It's an opportunity for a clean slate. It's a possibility for a fresh start. But the Fool is also somebody that doesn't necessarily have a great deal of experience. It's like somebody starting at the very beginning. Not a bad place to start, but just something to keep in mind. Let's see what else. It's like the Fool is almost kind of like not necessarily a prepared person, but they have a lot of faith. What's crossing you is temperance. What's crossing you is healing. What you're needing to deal with is the healing. It's almost like you're trying to kind of, when you let things go, when you walk away from things, you just want to like forget about it. But I feel like it's like the healing that's necessary needs to occur for you this month, because that's also affecting how you're connecting to other people. I mean, it's all good energy that's around you. There's passion, there's a lot of potential for success. Again, if you're in a relationship, have recently started a relationship, I definitely feel that this like has a lot of potential for growth. It's a very positive energy. There just needs to be more balance. It's like there's more energy being fed to there's more energy being fed or given to what's going to soothe the ego, but not necessarily the emotional stuff, the soul. It's like, let me do what I can do to make you happy. You need to do what you can do to make me happy. I'm going to make you feel good. I'm going to make you feel confident. That's what I need from you. That's all well and good. But it's like, I feel like there's more depth that needs to be exchanged back and forth. This is good energy, though. It's like you have the Fool and the World and Temperance and the Sun. This definitely indicates starting a relationship or starting a project that you're going to be extremely successful in. You're meant to see this through. You're meant to be successful at this, but you can't ignore your feelings. You can't ignore the fears. You can't ignore the insecurity. You can't ignore the fact that there's healing that is needed, period. And I feel like you struggle with that because your emotional world is going to be what is responsible for how clear you are intuitively. If you're insecure, if you're feeling emotionally insecure, if you're feeling emotionally depleted, if you haven't done, certain levels of healing, you're not your intuition is not going to be clear. You're going to see, because your emotions are going to affect whether or not you're seeing things from a fear space or a space of love, right? And so if you're in that lower vibration with your emotional world, everything that you're picking up intuitively is not really intuition. And so I feel like you might have trouble with maybe gauging this relationship that you're in, or gauging where you stand with this person. But again, it goes back to emotional healing. This situation or this relationship is also triggering, but the triggerings are happening so you can open up that heart center space to heal it. Yep. The outcome is the High Priestess and the Nine of Swords, having to face those subconscious fears. It's like you're in this space where you're like, I can't figure out why this isn't working. I can't figure out why this isn't coming together. I can't figure out why things aren't moving forward. Why can I not be successful at this? And it's like you're doing everything right in the practical sense. But all of this emotional stuff, that's what needs to be. And I know that's no fun. Yeah, your guidance is Six of Swords. Allow time for the emotional transition. The heart needs time to open. You're building healthy relationships. This is, healthy relations. We usually we meet somebody and it's all exciting and it's all wonderful and it's all like passionate, and this person messages you every day and tells you how beautiful you are, la la la. The beginnings of relationships are always amazing, but you can't sustain that. That's not really healthy relationship behavior, right? Having somebody call you 5 times a day and tell you how beautiful you are, yeah, that feels good. That's not healthy. It's not healthy, and it's not something that you should expect for a relationship to be for the rest of your life, because what that truly ends up becoming is somebody just feeding your ego, right? When you get past that kind of honeymoon phase of a relationship, that's when you really have to start putting in the work. What are we working towards? What are we building? Do we value the same thing? When a problem comes up, we don't just go, oh, he doesn't love me, I'm gonna run. Oh, he must be cheating on me. When those problems come up, you don't automatically just go to the negative. You work on these things together. And I feel like that's what you're being guided to do, especially if you've just entered into a relationship or you're trying to progress in a relationship. Don't expect for things to be like this passionate, beautiful, honeymoon type of relationship. When these problems come up, when things aren't always easy, that's when you have to kind of grow together and build together, and that's what you're being guided to do. Now you're at the phase of this relationship where we actually have to start working through it and get out of this space of fear and needing to have the ego fed in order to feel good enough to keep going. And that could be for you or the person that you're dealing with. If you're dealing with, say, for example, somebody who has a lot of jealousy issues, right? Those jealousy issues don't really have anything to do with you, right? And it's not your job to consistently prove to this person that they can trust you. They have to work through those jealousy things themselves, right? That's a them problem. Even if you have done something in the past that created the jealousy, if they chose to overlook that, then it's their responsibility to work through it. And I don't mean for that to sound hateful, but there's certain emotional fears and insecurities that we have to be able to work through ourselves, but we also have to work through these things together in a relationship to be able to say, hey, I'm feeling really jealous right now. I know that's not your problem, but I need to figure this out and take time to figure this out. That's how you're needing to approach this connection. Because this relationship is something that's going to withstand the test of time. This is something that it's a very powerful relationship, but you're you're in the Page of Cups energy. The person that you're dealing with is in Page of Cups energy. This is like brand new emotional territory. And so it's important that you kind of take time with this. All right. Love you guys. Have a good month.